call this meeting, this monthly meeting of Pittsburgh Water Board of March 27th, 2026 to order. Welcome, everybody. We'll start with the roll call. Danny Sircone.
Ms. Leber?
Here.
Ms. Strasburger?
Here.
Ms. Leach? Here. Mr. Domock? Here. Ms. McCormick-Barron?
Here.
Mr. Bay?
Here.
Mr. Fishback?
Here.
Mr. Kunka? Mr. Irwin? Madam Chair, we have a quorum.
Thank you. We have two new board members to welcome this morning, and I'm going to ask them to briefly introduce themselves. The first here at the table is Dr. Lou Irwin, who is a professor of government and public policy at Duquesne and had a distinguished career in the U.S. Army. So we welcome you to the board and thank you for your service.
Thank you, BJ. Thank you, everybody. Nice to meet you all and to be a part of this here this morning. I got a call from the mayor on the same day that the massive snowstorm hit, so I don't know if he was distracted in appointing me. But anyway, as BJ said, my background is both in academe at Duquesne University, where I teach public policy, talk about a lot of these kinds of issues, but I'm also have experience in the Army at senior levels, both in the Pentagon, working on kind of the process of bringing people together with different interests and resources and authorities to solve complex problems. But also, I was a combat engineer in the Army, so oversaw a lot of large projects as well. Great opportunity to contribute here. My impression of the team, both in terms of the board and the professional staff here, has all of the indicators have been very positive ones. I'm very pleased to have an opportunity to join this team and learn first and then contribute in any ways that I can. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Scott, any chance we have you back?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay. Yeah. It's okay. Thank you. Hi. My name is Scott. My name is Scott Kunka. I'm retired now, and most recently I was chief investment officer for Allegheny County. And prior to that, I was the director of finance and director of office of managed budget for the city of Pittsburgh. And in addition, for 7 years prior to that, I was on. I was trying to get a lot of feedback here. I was on the board of the PWSA. So I'm familiar with a lot of the operations. And it's been a while since I've been on the board, so I'm going to learn and try to do as much as I can to help move the organization forward. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott. I guess we should say welcome back. So I do want to let you know that the board met in executive session prior to this meeting to discuss legal and personnel matters and ask if there's any public comment. Okay. Hearing none, we will move on to approval of the minutes. Do we have a motion to approve? So moved. Second? Any changes, comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
The minutes are approved. The CEO approvals for the previous month have been approved. And now it's reports and updates with Ed Barca. I felt like I was introducing Ken Jennings there. Ed Barca.
Good morning, PWSA Board, and welcome to our two newest members. Happy to have you part of the team here at Pittsburgh Water. Included in your board packet is the finance report through February 28th, 2026. You will see that receipts through February totaled $18.7 million. That's about $1 million lower than the budgeted amount we had for the month. That under collection amount is the result of still the weather-related delays and also a billing glitch that we experienced back in January. And just for our two newest board members, I'll give you a briefing on that and what that entailed. First, our SAP vendor ran into a proration issue when they went to implement the new Alcosan rate increases in January. That resulted in 3 billing cycles having milling delays of 3 days. So there was a little bit of a delay there in getting those bills out. Second, our bill presentment vendor ran into 2 issues related to just the general bill presentment, again, related to Alcosan. That, again, resulted in a few more further delays for those bills being sent out in January. And then the last is talk about the January snowstorm. We ran into some issues with the USPS and delivering mails to our customer, and included in those mails were our bills. So again, a little bit of a delay there just due to that weather-related event. Having said all that, just a look ahead, I know we're still reporting here in February, but our March collections through yesterday have been strong. We've collected about $25 million. And moving forward over the remaining 5 days of the month, if we obtain $1 million in collections over the next 5 days, each day, which is our typical collection rate, will eclipse our March budget for what we had budgeted for collections and make up the prior January and February under collection amount. So while we're seeing some delays here, the long story short is, we're seeing that kind of pick up and correct itself leading into the end of March, and I'll obviously report on that next month as well. Switching gears here to our operating expenses, through February 28th of this year, our operating expenses have totaled $16.4 million. That's about 10.3% of the budget. And our capital expenditures through that same period totaled $20.5 million. $42.8 million in debt service payments have been made through the end of February. That's about 41% of the budget for the year. And just as a reminder, that large amount that you see already paid through February is just a function of our semi-annual debt service payments. We made about a $40 million annual debt service payment in February as part of our annual cycle. And then our next large payment here is due in August of about $44 million. So you'll see through the rest of the year that amount will kind of smooth out, and then we'll make the next payment towards the end of the year. And our forecasted year-end debt service is projected to be $104.2 million. That's about right on budget, slightly under actually, of about $133,000 lower than the adopted budget. But again, the context there is, we're projecting to kind of see those payments smooth out and follow the budget schedule that we had for the year. This concludes my report for today. I'll turn it back over for any questions. Thank you.
Got a question. I was thinking about the presentation here, wondering if some minor edits might provide a more enterprise-wide picture.
Sure.
Start with the trivial. The two PennVest categories and DISC categories could probably be merged because they're coupled by percentage and correlate to the top line.
Okay.
But maybe more interestingly, since this is the 6-year anniversary of PUC 2020-0326, page 52 talks about $11.4 million being maybe sometimes challenging to collect from a certain large ratepayer. It might be good to add IOUs line as well as cap grants, because that's grown from 8,000 to more than 9,000 now in the last year. So that could indicate some trends and what leverages exist on the balance sheet. Because the way the enterprise model works with no dividends is a small change on the top line can magnify into what's in the bottom as a positive or negative number, which can then go to rate stabilization and other purposes.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm open for those changes, and we could talk offline, but yeah, I'm supportive of that.
Any other questions for Ed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Engineering report, Barry King.
I'll be utilizing a PowerPoint for this morning. Good morning, Chair Leber and the members of our board. This morning I'd like to highlight progress on the construction of several of our vertical projects. Yes. All right. So, I'll be presenting briefly on the 4 projects that I have listed here. starting with the ABC project. In the April board report, engineering will present on several other vertical projects that are also currently under construction at this time. All right. So, so the A in the ABC project, as we all know, is the Aspinwall Pump Station upgrades project. I will start there. We have, with our contractor, facilitated the relocation of operations, both the equipment and staff, to River Ave. To date, Mascaro is performing selective demolition, including the demolition of the exterior garage, which has already been removed from the site behind the Aspinwall Pump Station. Our contractors have also established temporary construction power and lighting to the work areas. We've completed utility locations and field measurements, as well as site initiation measurements for the infrastructure to be placed. We have installed erosion and sediment controls, and the guard shack and access points to the site are here. You can see in the photograph to the mid-right is the location of the guard shack for the contractor entrance into Aspinwall. We have also placed temporary site fencing that will separate the site from the larger water treatment plant facility and protect both our staff as well as the contractors. Here you can see the busy Aspinwall Pump Station staging area, which we refer to as our trailer city. The contractors have fully set up all of the respective boxes as well as trailers for offices throughout the site. Next, the B in ABC is the Brecken Pump Station upgrades. Our contractors have also been making great strides at the Brilliant Yard on the Brecken Pump Station upgrades, including the relocation of operations as well from this site over to the River Ave operations facility. We have conducted soil sampling and utility locating throughout the site, including the installation of utility monitoring points. The demolition of the existing Brecken garage is down. You can see in the lower photograph, it's nearly complete in that picture, early March. The contractors are also well underway with the site initiation measurements, including installation of the required erosion and sediment controls, installation of the guard shack for this site, and placement of the site fencing. We are also making progress with regards to the C in ABC, the Clearwell bypass. So, we have conducted what you can see in the photograph below. All the trees have been removed from surrounding the Clearwell itself. We have conducted utility locates, successfully identifying the location, not known for more than 120 years, the location of the Clearwell structure itself and twins. We knew where that was largely, but the fine micro measurement location of the Clearwell, not at all. And as well as the two 72-inch lines that feed water to the Brecken Pump Station that go under the river. All have been located. Contractor has also installed utility monitoring points on Brecken, along with soil sampling and borings, and performed the site initiation measures, typical of what we did for the for the Aspinwall and the Brecken pump stations for sediment and erosion control, installation of the guard shack access points, and site fencing. So, the project team successfully verified the century-old, am I on slide 6? No, I'm one ahead, sorry, forgive me. All right. The project team successfully located and verified the century-old Clearwell structure on all three accessible sides, confirming the location shown on the historical drawings. An additional notable achievement during the period includes the development of an improved, fully integrated, cost-loaded baseline schedule for the project. This schedule, along with the relocation of operations to River Ave, required extensive coordination amongst the prime contractors, Pittsburgh Water Operations Department, Engineering and Construction Department, and the CMCI team. Shown in this photograph, coming up, is a segment of the fabricated 166-inch steel pipe that will serve as a portion of the future Clearwell bypass pipe. The shop drawings for the fabricated 144-inch steel pipe were approved on November 24th, 2025, with the order for the pipe being placed shortly thereafter. We anticipate delivery of the steel pipe currently anticipated in mid-August of 2026. Now, for other water treatment plant projects, the lime slurry and sodium permanganate project involved the installation of new tanks, piping, valves to improve the liquid lime chemicals feed system, as well as adding a new sodium permanganate feed system at the water treatment plant. The project is nearing completion at this time. A walkthrough was conducted with the PA Department of Environmental Protection, and operating permits for the new systems have been issued by the state. Chemical test runs are now underway to verify the performance of the new tanks and piping and to identify any adjustments or repairs that are needed to conduct and complete the project closeout. I should note that Kokosing Industrial, SSM Industries, and Laneco Electric are completing the final work on that project. The left photo I show here shows the new instantaneous water heater for temperature control of the water used for mixing the lime slurry for chemical treatment. And the right photo shows the new lime slurry pumps themselves. Next, the left photo shows the new tank discharge control panel and pump control panels. And on the right, we show the new lime slurry system control panel overall, fully integrated with SCADA. Next, I'll discuss the Landfer Booster Disinfection Improvements Project, including the construction of a new sodium hypochlorite storage and dosing building at the Landfer Reservoir to enhance disinfection and monitoring before the water enters the distribution system. Work also included a new meter vault, which houses magnetic flow meters along with sodium hypochlorite injection and sampling points. The project also includes a backup generator, a stormwater infiltration bed, and site improvements such as new underdrain and sidewalk along the south side of the reservoir. Shown in this photo is the installation of the underground piping for the stormwater infiltration bed that was completed back on March 11th. The project team includes Arcadis, Accenture for CMCI, McCrossin for General, Laneco, for electrical, Wayne Krause for HVAC, and the plumbing. Construction is approximately 90% complete at this time. The operating permit from the PA Department of Environmental Protection was received last week on March 19th. Remaining work involves system startup and the remaining installation of the infiltration bed for stormwater. Key challenges included working along the steep reservoir slope, stacking of multiple trades working on top of each other, in other words, in a small building, and coordinating activities with the local baseball association. Note that the restored ball field will be turned back over to the Bowerstown Baseball and Softball Association before the end of April. The contractor's trailers and work boxes have been removed from the site, leaving final restoration as the final closeout item for this project. Shown in the first photo on the left is the installation of sample lines that extend between the new sodium hypochlorite building and the supply main. The middle photo shows the installation of the underground electrical conduits that carry the electrical and the data lines between the new sodium hypo building and the new magnetic flow meter in the vault. The third photo shows the interior of the new vault housing, showing one of the two new 30-inch magnetic flow meters on the supply main piping, along with the sodium hypochlorite injection quill and an air release valve. Inside the pipe, we have also installed a 36-inch diameter static wafer-style mixer. That is the segment you are seeing there beyond the actual flow meter for proper mixing of the hypo. The supply main piping outside the vault that we connected to is 60-inch diameter. The piping in there is 30-inch diameter to accommodate a reasonable size meter. Shown in the first photograph on the upper left is the finished sodium hypochlorite building itself. The next 5 photos are interior views of the building. The second and third photos show the two new 1,200 gallon bulk sodium hypochlorite storage tanks, associated piping, and level monitoring equipment. Note, in accordance with permitting, we have also installed a 625 gallon day tank within the facility, but not shown in this view. The fourth photo on the lower left are the 3 new chemical injection metering pumps neatly laid out on the pump skid, along with the associated pressure gauges, operating panels, and SCADA monitoring cables. The lower middle photograph shows the new interior fill station piping and valving, which provides improved safety for the delivery crews for the sodium hypo, with added spill prevention and containment. And the lower right photo shows the very tidy, well-organized new chlorine analyzers and associated sample tubing. Next, I'll jump to the Highland Reservoir Pump Station project, which has advanced significantly across all of the trades. Compared to the last time we've conducted a field view with the board, you can see much progress has been made. Recent accomplishments include the completion of pressure testing, flushing, and disinfection of all process piping, continued site grading and concrete placement, installation of the front gate, completion of pump alignment, and installation of the generator. Also, notably, the operations permit from the PADEP was received on March 19th, which will allow for the final system startup and the site acceptance testing. This will include the Garfield pumps being completed the week of April 13th, the low flow pumps to Highland being completed the week of April 20th, the primary pumps to Highland 1 being completed the week of April 27th, and the DEP operating permit for the chemical addition station is anticipated the week of April 13th. Shown here on is an aerial overview of the Highland Reservoir Pump Station, taken during the placement of the new generator towards the back of the building, as well as the new placement of concrete for the additional driveway in the front of the pump station. The photo to the left is a closer-up view of the generator placement before the permanent housing was placed over the top of it. The middle photo shows the ground heater tubing placed before the concrete was installed behind the pump station between the building and the generator. I'll just add one note. Working this time of year outdoors and pouring concrete allows for such opportunities as having to heat the ground before you place the concrete. So that's what you're seeing there. And the right photo shows the new automated gate installation between Mellon Terrace and the pump station parking area. Last, I'll go to one of the community events that we had done in support in conjunction with our public affairs team for the Highland 2 Reservoir slope stability project, community charrette, which was completed on February 28th. I will be back with a resolution that's specific to this project and necessitated by recent findings. So the event consisted of introductions from Pittsburgh Water and Councilwoman Deb Gross, and an overview of the project by Pittsburgh Water, followed by participants rotating through 3 breakout groups discussing landscaping impacts, technical information, and community access to the reservoir. The event was well attended by the community and other stakeholders, including representatives from the Pittsburgh Zoo and the City of Pittsburgh Forestry Department. Overall feedback from the community was positive. The team is reviewing the many helpful suggestions and questions that we received from the community, and we will be addressing as many of them as is practically feasible. That is it for my presentation. If you have any questions on those, you can let me know. But otherwise, I will move into my last subject matter. The following projects are out for construction bid at this time. We have the new operations center renovations. It is the general, the electrical, the plumbing, and the HVAC contracts are all out and due April 7th. The 2026 neighborhood lead service line replacement contracts, A1 and A2, are due April 7th and April 8th, respectively. Stewart Avenue Stormwater Improvements Projects has the bid due on April 16th. And the 2026 urgent surface restoration contract bids are due on April 16th. This is a new contract which will address surface restoration locations urgently and redress temporary paving during winter moratorium as well. The following project is currently out for bid for engineering. It is the QA/QC services for the 2026 neighborhood lead service line replacement, Contract A. The bids are due on April 21st. This concludes my report. Thank you, and I'll turn it back over to the board for any questions.
Thank you so much, Barry. That's an incredible amount of work that you just presented, and especially having accomplished it over such a cold winter, a lot of it over such a cold winter. I mean, it's a testament to your team and the partners that PGH2O partner with all the time. I was curious, actually, I had one question about looking at the board metrics and this amount of work that you're accomplishing and plan for the coming year. We have a metric on amount of capital deployed, right, versus your target. Are there any other types of metrics, either that you would think would be valuable to track simultaneously, that talk about the pace of the projects and whether, like, how close to on time the in general the capital program is being delivered?
Yeah, we have a significant effort right now going on with utilizing TUC, which is Trimble Utility Connect, I believe it is. It's changed. It used to be eBuilder. And we have been utilizing that system as a real marker system and tracking deliverables, ensuring that we're meeting the deadlines and milestone objectives that we have out there. Some of it was driven and born out of the requirements that we have under some of the consent order projects, really helping us to hone on the necessity to be able to achieve those dates. But we're definitely getting ever increasingly more focused on all the dates that we do have that we are hitting.
Yeah, that's great. And so, is that typically tracked like on a project by project basis, or is there kind of a metric that rolls up all of the entire capital program that system provides?
So overall, for the design and planning of projects, it's still largely maintained within the TUC system. But we have been utilizing and implementing Primavera P6 for identification of all the milestones across all of our major capital projects. It's a really construction-based scheduling and definition of all the milestones and metrics that we're meeting there. So we're able to see, it's easy to be focused on one individual project, but when you're carrying, as you can see, a slate of 10, some of them very large projects with many project managers, it's really essential to have a single point of being able to verify and review. So we've been implementing that over the past 2 months. We have new staff that we are able to introduce into construction. It's been very effective to identify with operations, show operations what we're anticipating versus what they can accommodate. It's been useful.
Yeah. Thanks for the explanation, Barry. Appreciate
Absolutely.
Trying to wrap my head around 1,300 sites in 800 locations, and a way to sort of, I mean, it sounds nice, big numbers, but in terms of also communicating that. But before I get into that, I'm assuming a site is a work task.
I would say that's a fair definition.
Okay. So, a lot of ways to do this. Depending on who you talk to, Pittsburgh has 50 to 90 neighborhoods. It has 32 wards. So if you start looking at it that way, and a 6-day work week, no OT, staggered shifts, that results in, if you uniformly distribute those sites, that's flipping a neighborhood every 2 or 3 days. Where in 2 days, that's 14 sites. In 3 days, it's 26 sites. Good luck.
Thank you.
But lots of times if you drive down a highway, you go through a tunnel, there's something there that tells you how long what your expectation should be, and it normally lowers your expectation so you don't get pissed off about the traffic. So in communicating to the public as this goes forward, there might be alternative ways to do that.
Interesting. Very good. I will take that forward to my team. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Barry? Thanks a lot.
Hey, thank you.
Break it down by ward, so you can kind of skew the numbers any way you want.
Okay, next we have Chief of Operations and Environmental Compliance Officer report. Hi, Frank.
Good morning, everyone. So this month, I wanted to start with 2 environmental compliance related updates. First, last week, as we do every year, actually, we launched our annual stormwater training for all Pittsburgh water staff. The annual training that we do is a requirement under our municipal separate storm sewer system, our MS4 permit, and it provides a review of both our combined sewer as well as our separate storm sewer systems and associated best practices for stormwater management. Pittsburgh Water also provides these training materials along to the City of Pittsburgh for their use in training their staff, because the City of Pittsburgh is a co-permittee with us on our MS4 permit. Secondly, over the last couple of months, I've been updating you on the status of our annual environmental compliance regulatory reporting. And so today, I'll talk about this for this year. I wanted to confirm to the board that we have submitted or will be submitting today our combined sewer overflow status report, which goes into DEP, and that is our final report for this year. That particular CSO status report provides a summary and a review of our CSO programs from last year, and it is something we submit to the DEP every year. Turning now to our operations group, last September, I reported to the board on the importance of our water-related valves. Pittsburgh Water operates over 27,000 isolation valves on our over 900 miles of water lines located across the city. Understanding the very critical nature of these valves and what they play in providing safe and reliable drinking water service to our customers, we initiated what we've called the Valve Learning Project. Our Valve Learning Project has brought together staff, including frontline workers from our field operations, our GIS team, technology services, asset management, as well as our engineering team, to discuss our valves and the work processes that surround them. That valve working group has met twice at the end of last year. We had a couple day or half-day sessions with them. And here recently, in this last month, we had a 1 week long intensive workshop to focus completely in on our valves themselves. The outcome from that workshop are still in progress. Everybody's got work assignments in their completion plan, and they will be in progress for some time, although we're making great strides on making changes very rapidly. These types of changes include improvements on such things as the collection of valve information while we're out in the field, the mapping and display of valve status in a GIS type database so we can almost real time hopefully see statuses of our valves, as well as improvements in streamlining the way we handle work orders, how we respond to do work and perform work and status surveys on our valves itself. We have implemented a steering committee comprised of Pittsburgh Water leadership. They've been assembled to help guide and challenge that working group, but also to assist with removing barriers to help implement the work processes and really have us act as quickly as possible on some of the suggestions that have come out of this group itself. The outcome of the project, of course, is focused on reducing time associated with system maintenance or emergency response on our valves. And right now, we have observed the learnings from this valve project likely are also going to be carried over to other pieces of operation. So just like we have valves, we have many manholes, we have many catch basins, we have service, our curb stops. So as we've gone through this learning about valves, everybody said, we could take this and improve the process over here as well. So more to come on that particular project, but so far very successful. Finally, for today, water quality update. So in 2002, back a number of years from now, Pittsburgh Water actually became the 124th surface water filtration plant in Pennsylvania to join a program called the Partnership for Safe Water. The partnership is a voluntary program. It is kind of between 6 drinking water organizations, primarily the American Water Works Association, and more than 250 utilities throughout the United States. The goal of the partnership is to provide an advanced measure of drinking water safety by implementing prevention programs where legislation or regulation does not exist. So essentially going above and beyond the minimum of the regulatory requirements. The preventative measures themselves are based around optimizing our water treatment plant performance as well as our distribution system operation. Pittsburgh Water completed what's known as Phase 1 and Phase 2 of the partnership program previously by signing and joining the partnership agreement. And then we entered into a long period of time collecting and submitting data on both our raw and finished water quality and responded to reviewer comments from the partnership organization about system optimization and performance. In 2025, so last year, about a year ago, our water quality team submitted what's known as our Phase 3 self-assessment completion report to the partnership. That Phase 3 application was the culmination of many years of effort to optimize the treatment facility, as well as keeping our combined filter effluent turbidities below 0.1 NTU. A little technical there, but 0.1 NTU is basically a measurement of the clarity of the water. That's 3 times better than the regulatory requirement of 0.3. So we had to demonstrate to the partnership that we are vastly exceeding the regulatory requirements in terms of compliance with our water treatment process. We also had to demonstrate to the partnership our commitment to improving water quality through highlighting some of the work we do in administrative resilience, our capital improvement plans, so those programs that Barry has talked about, as well as overall operational performance. So happy to report in February of 2026, Pittsburgh Water was informed that the Phase 3 of the partnership was achieved, and we'll receive what's called the Director's Award for this achievement. It'll be awarded at the Pennsylvania American Water Works Association meeting here in May, and then will also be nationally recognized at the annual AWWA conference later in June. Receipt of this Director's Award from that partnership does demonstrate our commitment to continuous improvement of our drinking water treatment and plant performance, and with that commitment to continue to serve our customers as well as that future generations as part of our mission. As I report each month, we continue to demonstrate this. Last month, we produced over 79 million gallons of water per day from our treatment plant. We performed 2,246 laboratory analysis, and through all of that, we continue to exceed all drinking water quality requirements. I would like to take a moment here to wrap up to recognize our Senior Manager of Water Production, Jeff Turco, our Senior Manager of Water Quality, Kevin Wood, as well as our Senior Manager of Maintenance, John Murray, and the team that they work with of our plant operators, our chemists in the laboratory, and our maintenance personnel who really are the ones that make our treatment plant perform so well to be able to receive that Director's Award itself. So that's going to conclude my report for today. If there's any questions on environmental compliance, operations, please let me know. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank, and congratulations on the Director's Award and to everyone achieving it. Is there a Phase 4 that they offer?
There is a Phase 4, kind of. It's called the President's Award. Essentially, the Director's Award is focused on our overall treatment. We have 18 filters at our treatment plant. As part of that next level, you actually dive down into individual filter performance, and it is something that our water quality team is actively looking at working through. But first, we got to get the Director's Award officially handed to us. So.
Great, thank you.
Yep. Any questions?
Yeah. Hey, Frank. 2 things. One is, as a fisherman, I'm just curious about. The second is, I don't know if it's last meeting or the prior one, you indulged us with some pretty impressive cool walk-around numbers. So I thought I'd give you one back.
All right.
All right. I notice end of February there's a diffuse turbidity bump in the river, but as that's waning, there's a super significant TOC spike, which I assume is SOC. Where'd that come from? Any idea?
Yeah, so I'd have to look specifically at the days. One of the interesting things that happens out at our treatment plant every spring and winter is part of our treatment process takes the water from the river. We pump that across to our sedimentation basins, which sit along Route 28, and then that eventually comes back through our filters. So there's often a freeze-thaw cycle that we see. So we will see things like the sedimentation basins that may be frozen over, they may melt, some changes that happen intra-process that sometimes causes a few interesting bumps. And then the other piece that's happening is a lot of our front-end treatment is temperature dependent. So as we see things, we saw very cold temperatures, very warm temperatures, rain events that have warmer water. So sometimes when we see a few of those temperature changes that might be kind of cycling right now, it was 70 yesterday, now it's 50 out, that can kind of intermittently change or adjust how some of our treatment performance is happening on the front end. So yeah, the springtime becomes a spot where we do have a lot of change, and sometimes we see a couple little bumps. So, but I could look specifically at those days and see what was happening there.
Yeah, I went back at the meteorology, so I was going to see. All right. So, would you agree 12,500 lead service lines is an impressive number?
I think that's an impressive number, but I think we can get to a more impressive one at some point. Here,
well,
so.
hang on.
Okay.
They're 20 feet long. Do you have any idea what that weighs?
I couldn't calculate that in my head, but
million
where you
pounds.
go? Million pounds, okay.
500 tons. And it's worth 400 to 700,000 as scrap.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you tell people about all the junk you're ripping out of the ground, 1 million pounds, baby, plus.
Yeah, there is a tremendous amount that is being removed from the ground. Those lines themselves are being recycled, so as part of the bids and the projects that we have, the contractors are required to remove those and recycle those lead service lines, so they're not being landfilled or disposed of. But they are being recycled, and that would be a consideration as part of the bidding process, I would assume, through the contractors.
Yeah, there's a lot of stamping operations here in Pittsburgh. In fact, RITC has one where they do both lead acid battery stamping and laminates for EVs. So if this could kind of circulate back, because it's pretty easy to recycle, you just heat it up and the dross comes to the top. It's pretty easy. It's a high density, low melting point.
Yeah.
So, but anyhow, I just thought I'd give you a number back.
No, thank you. That's super interesting, that total volume. I hadn't thought about that way, but yeah, it is all being recycled, so.
It's 1,000 Toyota pickup trucks. And if you put them end to end.
Thank you. Any other comments, questions? All right, thank you so much.
Thanks, Freight. Will, you're up. Chief Executive Officer's report.
Thanks and good morning. I want to begin by welcoming our newest board members. I have said often and justifiably that we have a fantastic board of directors, and actually within the last few weeks I've heard from unnamed colleagues that they are jealous of the composition of our board and the expertise that you all bring on, and I know that's only been enhanced with Lou and Scott's addition to our board. So thank you for your public service in agreeing to serve on our board, and we look forward to getting acquainted with you and getting you up to speed. I did want to just briefly touch on a few items. Barry, in his remarks, walking through the various projects, alluded to the physical moves of Pittsburgh Water employees to accommodate the ABC projects. So we do have, we had trades at the Aspinwall pump station that were relocated, but a huge undertaking was moving our largest single facility for our operation employees from Brilliant Yard to what we're calling now the River Ave operations headquarters facilities. So not just that largest group, but primarily all of the other field operational employees have been moved to that location. And I really want to commend our operation management group for bringing everyone together under one roof. This is something that as an organization we have been talking about for well over a year. I have heard from employees that one, it'll never happen, or two, that some sort of civil war was going to break out. We can't all occupy the same space. In reality, it couldn't be further from the truth. I've spent a fair amount of time out there and have heard from employees that it is an upgrade from the facilities that we were previously providing them, which is no surprise. Really, we owed to them an improvement. Barry alluded to the contracts that are out for bid currently, and that is because they're really in a temporary occupation of that River Avenue facility. We are going to build out permanent amenities that are more suitable for our workforce, and that's why those construction and associated trade contracts are being let. But all of that, there's moving pieces. There was certainly a lot of support from the engineering construction team to get the phase one part done. But I do really just want to emphasize the people part of it, the flexibility of our employees and our managers, making sure that happens. On the flip side, most of you are aware that we are also beginning to execute our move from this building into what we are going to call our Safe Water Center, our administrative headquarters on Smallman Street. We are close to executing contracts to do some slight building modifications. As you all may recall, this is a near move-in ready office facility for us, but we are going to create some additional office space and need to do some mechanical and electrical work before we can accommodate that move later this year. But I do want to let you all know that is moving along, and those small dollar contracts are in process. Shifting gears, I also want to commend our team. I've taken this opportunity through my updates to provide you with a glimpse of what we are doing under the guise of our Safe People, Safe Water program. I do encourage you to look in the board packet at our safety metrics, and I'm really heartened to see that we are continuing the momentum that we established last year with record low injury rates, and the different rates that we track year over year are trending in the absolute right direction, which is what we want to see, and really just excited for our team to keep that momentum. Frank Sideri has been an awesome champion working with his operations teams. Obviously, they're the most at risk of injury day to day, but I want to share with the board that we're seeing that consistency in really awesome progress. And then finally, I'll end with a public service announcement for those who regularly attend our board meetings. We are not going to meet on a Friday. We have shifted the next board meeting to April 22nd, so you all don't need to contend with the NFL draft. Perhaps you've heard it's headed to Pittsburgh, so we didn't want to ask you to try to find your way to the building then. So please do know that that's a Wednesday, April 22nd. We'll certainly circulate that news out, but if those of you know of others that typically attend this board meeting, please make them aware of that change. And, you know, it is our hope before the end of the year that we will also be holding our board meetings at the Safe Water Center. Parking is more accessible and will be free, and it will just be more accommodating for these public meetings. So stay tuned for, we're just getting the audio visual element set up so that we can accommodate those board meetings at the future headquarters. That wraps up my remarks. Happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Thanks, Will. Any questions? Oh, appreciate it. Thanks for moving the meeting. I think everyone was happy not to have to travel downtown on that Friday. Okay, moving on to resolutions. I think, Ed, you're up first.
Resolution number 18 of 2026, authorizing the agreement with Huntington Bank for credit services and designating the Director of Finance as the credit program administrator. Just to give a brief background on what this entails, this is a credit card program. Currently, we have a credit card program with another bank in town. That credit card program is extremely limited to one card, and it's only used in instances where if we're buying something from a vendor, they only accept credit cards, right? We're running into that more and more as things become more digital. This resolution today authorizes a switch from that current bank that we do business with to Huntington Bank, and to expand that credit card to 3 cards. There's a general card that would then be used again for those one-off purchases that only accept credit cards, and the other 2 would be deployed into our operations division for emergency purchases. We ran into a situation late last year where there was an emergency situation where something needed to be bought. They did not have a credit card in hand at the time to make that purchase. So this is an improvement to that process, just to elaborate that and to give them the tools that they need. But again, it's a very limited scope, and we want to keep it that way for the time being. The last thing that I'll note is the authorization levels for these 3 cards will follow our delegation of authority. So right now, you know, when somebody's approving a purchase order or a purchase requisition, they have a certain amount that they can approve up to, given their job title. These cards will follow that same threshold amount, just to be consistent across our organization.
Thanks for the briefing.
Yep.
Why don't I read the resolution one more time? We can open it up for any other comments, and then we can take the vote. Resolution number 18, 2026, authorizing the agreement with Huntington Bank for credit services and designating the Director of Finance as the credit program administrator. Any thoughts or questions? I did have a few, but you answered them all when you talked about them, so I appreciate that, the briefing. Any other comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Seconded?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion is approved. I'll read this one. Resolution number 19 of 2026, approving the award of 2026 vehicle purchases to TriStar Motors Incorporated in the amount of $1,245,247.
Sure, and I'll add some context to this. This specific amount is purchasing 17 units. That's going to be deployed in our operations division. Just to give an understanding, too, of the realm of our fleet, we have about 175 fleet vehicles out there in the field now. Of that, about 78% are over 5 years old and 32% are over 7 years old. And what this purchase would allow us to do is to really attack those older vehicles. Of the ones that I mentioned, 3 are going to be replaced that are 9 years old, and the remaining that are going to be replaced are over 10 years old. So again, this is a little bit of a catch-up to get in front of that, those aged vehicles, and to allow us to, again, to deploy more, vehicle-ready or, more, what's the word I'm looking for, more appropriate vehicles out into the field, given that the operations that we need to have and the needs that we have.
I also noticed there were some lower contract values for similar fleet replacements, but this is the one that came to the threshold for us to take a look at.
Correct, yeah. So and that's a good point there to clarify. So yeah, this specific contract, because we're giving it the TriStar Motors and it was over $1 million, it's required to come to the board. There were 3 or 4 other purchases, different vendors, but they did not meet that $1 million threshold. So given our delegation of authority, we're able to move forward with those purchases, without coming to the board. But I wanted to disclose that in the resolution, just so the board can see the full realm of all of our purchases.
Got it. What happens to the fleet vehicles that are retired? Are they just traded in, or anything in particular?
We actually auction them off. We have a public site on our website. We plan to do so for these ones that we're purchasing from time to time. We'll, a couple times a year, we'll auction that off and try to recoup some funds, but also just, get rid of those appropriately as well.
Thanks. Any other questions? Okay, do I have a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion to approve.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Any abstentions? Okay, the motion's approved.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, next resolution, number 20 of 2026, approving a change order of a capital contract for design of the Highland Number 2 Reservoir Dam Permitting and Slope Stability Project to Arcadis US Incorporated, capital budget $398,000. Hi, Barry.
Good morning again. This resolution is for our contract with Arcadis, which includes engineering services that are including but not limited to geotechnical investigation, design, and permitting. Since the time of the preliminary design, the team has identified that the northeast embankment is less stable than previously assumed or identified, and traditional stabilization methods such as soil nails and slope flattening will be insufficient for this particular design. This change order covers additional efforts associated with the design change, which will likely involve a system of reinforcing piles and wall elements, which was not anticipated in the original scope. So these are clearly all additional costs associated with completing all the way up through final contract documents. Staff requests the board approve.
Thanks. Are any of these as a result of the community meeting, or are these kind of identified in advance?
These were part of the original base design where they did their geotechnical evaluations, and Pittsburgh red claystone was identified to be running under the entire reservoir, which are notoriously weak, geotechnically speaking. So it's necessary based on that and what we're seeing with the stability of the northwest portion of the dam embankment, that there are minor amounts, but there are movements that are being detected, so
Okay. Yeah.
it's necessary.
Thanks. Hearing no more questions, do I have a motion to approve this resolution?
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All, thanks, Danny. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Yeah, I abstain due to current business with this organization.
Thanks. Okay, the motion carries. Next is number 21 of 2026, approving the award of a capital contract for construction of the 2025 Water Relay Project to Independent Enterprises Incorporated, capital budget, $1,889,910.
Very good. The Water Relay Program is one of our indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contracts, which is associated with escalated unplanned replacement of water mains and associated valves, fire hydrants, and service lines as required. Contract also includes the necessary restoration work, including sidewalks, surface restoration of the streets, and landscaping for all work areas addressed under this contract. Staff request board approval. Sorry.
Thanks. Any questions regarding this contract from the board? Yep. Thanks for the information provided in the packet. Do I have a motion to approve? Motion to approve. A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay, the motion carries. Our final of today, number 22 of 2026, approving the award of a capital contract for construction of the 2026 sewer reconstruction project to A. Morante Contracting Incorporated, capital budget $2,367,992.
This program is another annual indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity contract that's focused on the reconstruction of public sewer systems, which includes our storm, our sanitary, and our combined systems. Typical sites issued under this contract will include the restoration and reconstruction of sewers that are typically within 1 to 3 city blocks. Staff requests that the board approve.
Is this, sorry, is this another IDIQ or is
It is.
Okay. And are these, this contractor, I noticed in the list there were a couple different people who submitted RFQs. Are they new or are they?
We have a history of working with them, so they're very familiar with this work in particular.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Any other questions or comments? Okay, do I have a motion to approve number 2022?
Motion to approve.
Any seconds?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? All right, the motion carries. Thanks, Barry.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other business from the board members or you, Will? All right. I'd like to adjourn the regular meeting of the board of March 2026. Thanks.